Hey guys, it's Mitch with the Department of Bad Ideas, and so we got the new Infested enemies, and they're officially in the whole 9 yards of dealing with the Infested now. So I've been fighting them. I played against them a lot during the event, obviously, and out there in full rotation, they've done some patches to make them not as bad, but these are basically my feelings on them. When they first came out, they were way too powerful. They had to tone them down a bit because they were at the level they were at in Eris at 25 to 30, they were just tearing people apart, and Tommy Wiseau would have been proud. But they've toned them down a bit, but I still think they're a bit, just one of them in particular is overpowered. There's technically two of them, but you'll see what I mean in a second. So we got the Brood Mothers, we got the Boilers, Tar Mutalist, and the Swarm Mutalist enemies. Now, I think the Boiler and the Brood Mothers, I think those are perfect. They're in just the right spot for how they should function. The Brood Mother creates those annoying little guys that jump on you, do some little damage over time. Nothing big. They're there for harassment to keep you moving. Cool. I'm fine with that. And on the other hand, we've got the Boiler, who creates all these spawn pods. If I'm mixing these two up, let me know in the comments. I haven't actually seen either of them in defense in a while, even though I've gone 20 waves in a few times today. Now, those two are great. The problem is with the other two, the two that are based on MOAs. Now, I said a while back when the Eris tile set came out, that I wanted to be scared of the Infested. Problem is, there's a big difference between being scared of the Infested and being infuriated with them. Now, the problem I'm having right now, I'll start with the Tar Mutalist, since that's the biggest defender in my opinion. The way they function is they have the stomp function of shockwave MOAs, and they also have the ability to spit acid at you that slows you down if you stand in it. The problem is, though, taking a direct hit from that acid when it's fired off has a habit of one-shotting me. And they're doing this to me while I'm playing Valkyr with Warcry active at about 3,000 armor with the amount of power strength that I have. Probably just shy of that. That shouldn't be happening at level 30. Now, I understand, like, way down the line, like level 50 or 60, yeah, I get it, it'll happen. But at level 30, though, still within range of the star chart, getting randomly one-shot killed in defense because some mutalist guy behind a wall decided to fire and hit me directly with it. Now, I think the big problem with this is that the damage type is radiation, because I know this from, I get radiation procs from those little tar pits that you can, that they create, little tar piles. And we, as players, our characters, once their shields are down, we are extremely weak to radiation. That's why the Detron enemies on Jupiter tear us apart so quickly. That's because it's radiation damage. It deals double damage to us, or at least 50 or 75% extra damage. Now, it also will proc radiation, so you can kill your teammates if you're not careful. Now, I think the best way to fix this right now, there's really two ways you can fix this. One, get rid of the impact damage altogether. The tar already causes damage on its own. It slows us down. That has great synergy with the rest of the faction. I don't really think they need to have impact damage on those. Or not impact damage, but when you get hit damage. Forgot impact's a damage type. But that would fix that there. Also, you could make it not radiation damage. Make it corrosion or something like that. So standing in that could dull our armor down instead of cause us to accidentally kill our entire team. If, in my case, I got one of those, I was playing as Mesa, I hit Peacemaker and I'm like, ah, radiation, ah, there goes my team. So that was not good. So that could be one way to fix that problem. Personally, I would like to see it be corrosion and no initial hit. Just let the piles on the ground do the damage. That, I think, would be a good solution. It would still be extremely terrifying to get hit with, and it would not one-shot kill Valkyr at 3,000 armor at level 30. Because that's, no. Any other frame I play gets instantly annihilated by them, and that just really should not be the case. So for the other one, the Swarm Mutalist, this one isn't that bad early on, but the tighter the quarters are, the more apparent this issue is. The way they work, they send out these, I just call them bees. I know they're not bees, they're actually nanospores or something like that. You know, those things that we have tens of millions of in our inventory. And it creates an armor layer around an enemy, and that reduces the damage we hit them with. I believe it is straight armor bonuses, so I think Puncture gets through it, but I can't say with certainty because... So what happens is, okay, enemy gets this from the Swarm Mutalisk, and this spreads on contact from enemy to enemy and onto players. As players, we don't get the armor bonus. What we get is this damage over time. It's pretty weak. You can do one melee swing to get rid of it, or dodge roll to get rid of it. Okay, cool. But the problem is, it seems like it's stacking on itself on enemies, and there are some points where I have a Bolter Prime hitting for 32 damage. Now, you think with that being an armor bonus, I would be able to get through that with Puncture. It doesn't. The only solution I have for that would be, in theory, to stack Corrosion, but that doesn't seem to be doing much. So I don't know if this is a glitch on their end or an oversight, but whenever there's a big enough crowd of enemies and one of them gets the nanospores on them, they just spread exponentially, and suddenly I'm hitting for 12, 13, maybe 30 damage if I'm lucky with some of my really high-powered weapons. Even stuff like my Hack, which is ridiculous. It's been fully maxed out. I have the Syndicate modded and everything. I hit them point blank with that. I'm barely putting a dent in their health. I'm hitting them for like an eighth of their health. And this is only at like level, if you were in defense in the dark sector, this is only at like level 35 tops. Like you should still be with really super high-end maxed out polarized weapons. You should still be one-shotting them with the big one-shot kill weapons. But for whatever reason, that just doesn't let me do that. Even when I'm going into melee in particular, I'm noticing it because I figured, okay, melee is one way to get rid of the clouds. Cool, that'll mitigate all that. But it spreads so quickly, it just recovers them back up, and you don't get any damage out there on them. Even when I go in there with the, I go in there with my butcher knives and I'm running, or the dual cleavers, and I'm running around with the swirling tiger on, I just can't clear this stuff up. And that's a bit of a slap on the face, because I'm noticing now with the dark sectors, I can't stick with a group for more than 5 waves. Sometimes I get lucky and they go 10, maybe 15. But at that point, the whole group breaks, even the really good, well-built teams that I've been with. And there's really, the only way I've found to get around that is to just find the guys in the first place and mind control them. But when there's 3 of them on the map at a time spitting crap at you from a distance, you can't melee them, you've got to shoot them. But all those clouds are in the way and you can no longer damage them, it's a bit of a problem. The best thing I could really say about this is they just need to have a cap for how much damage reduction they can get, or make it easier for us to clear these clouds out. Because they fire these, I believe, 3 at a time. Similar to the Tar Mutalisk, splatters out, and then anything that touches it, it spreads. So the best thing I could really say is to tone down the amount of armor they get, or make it easier for us to clear it up. Like, one hit from anything should really clear a layer of that off, in my opinion. It's still a bit of a slap on the face to shotguns and sniper weapons, bows and all that, but at least it'll make it easier for us to function when they're there. Because right now, that is, once those are there, the whole mission's over. There's nothing you can do about it. You're going to struggle to get through that wave. And when you're finally done, I'm talking about this with, like, late game, full team full of Bolter Primes bullshit kind of teams, too. You know, using the broken weapons of the month. And they're having trouble with it. So I think that probably would be the best solution to mitigate that a bit. I don't want to say get rid of the bees, because, I mean, it adds to the game. I'm not fond of it at all, but it does add a little bit of depth to the faction. So I guess we'll have to let the developers use their best judgment on that one. The last part of this with those 2 enemies, I saved this for last because both of them get this, is that they can stomp. Now, this seems very out of character for the faction. That's kind of my problem with it. That and they just last a little bit too long. I think they last a little longer than the Shockwave MOA one does. I mean, I can deal with it, although the issue I'm having, I don't know if this is just on my end, if it's like a client or host issue and it's not supposed to happen, but it seems like they hit you out of the air as well as off the ground. I try to jump into it like you do with the Shockwave MOA, and it seems to still hit me. I don't know if that's a glitch on my end or what it is, but that's a problem. We should be able to get through them like we do normally. Otherwise, you're kind of sending mixed signals with those little lines on the ground. Like normally it's like, okay, line, get over the line. But if it's not consistent, that's just frustrating for newer players. And, you know, newer players and veterans alike. So I don't know what to do with those. I mean, I don't want to say to get rid of it because obviously they put time into putting it there, but it just seems very uncharacteristic of the Infested. If they had something similar to that they did say they stomped and it was like a line that fired at you or something like that, okay, cool, that'd be fine. The Infestation are really about staying on the move and mitigating the crowd that comes at you. You know, take them on small parts at a time and take down the swarm. That would work. But right now the stomp it's a little odd. But it's nowhere near as bad as the the nanospore swarms or the one-shot kills from the tar beetlist. Alright, I'm going on a little long, so without further ado, this is Mitch with the Department of Bad Ideas, signing off.